Okay, go. You have 35 minutes to complete the exam. Go. So far, 0. Go. The way you think, or do it the way you would actually program.
Mas também que a gente vai explicar, depois do final da câmera. Like to figure out a percent of something, you don't need 3 things. Just, it's math. Okay, listen.
Good job.
Uzmít se budeš Mikola.
Thank
That takes a number and a percent and returns the percent of the given number. Did everyone hear that? Okay. So, implement the function. That takes a num and a percent. How do I get the percent of a number? Okay, so, good question. Okay, I won't take off points for this, but if you did this as a string, this means it will return that percent with a percent sign as a string, right? Which is okay, fine. I'm not going to take points for that. But when I said percent, I meant the value of the percent, not the string that is formatted with a percent. Հասկացա ինչ ասեցի։ Դա հանգիստ։ Բայց ապագայում ուշադիր կարծեք, հա, տոկոսն է ուզում, ոչ թե տոկոսի տեքստն է ուզում։ Եթե ասեմ քանի տոկոսն են այստեղ բանը, դու ասում ես 50, չես ասում 50 որպես տեքստ տոկոսով։ Okay, լավ, fine, դրա համար չենք հանի, բայց ոչ իմ թիվ է ուզում, հա։ Okay, look. N consume है, but just the team now. Fine? Okay, good. Alright. By the way, ուրիշ վարիանտներ կային, որ հակառակներ, չէ, որ թվերը տալիս է ուզում էի տոկոսը ստանալ, ոչ իմ նույն մաթեմի մի քիչ տարբերակներ, հասկացաք, չէ? Okay, good. Okay, next. Next. Implement a function that takes a number and returns the sum of all numbers between it and 1. As one sort of factorial learning, but it's constant bazanopatia. Instead of multiplying, you're adding, just like factorial. Any questions about this? Why am I returning? What if I did this? What would happen? I would add a 1 for 0, so I would have an extra 1, right? Right, for factorial you return 1 because times 1 is the same thing. Yes. If you did 0 in factorial, you would multiply by 0 and get a 0. True. Huh? Okay, what happens if you can... What happens when you concatenate an empty... When you concatenate an empty string to something else? What does... What... No, it's not nothing. Look.
Turns it into house.
No, not enough. Es in channel. Why? Okay, S in channel. 4 is a lot, so S in channel. Four. The text 4. Hajin. In science? Negative 1? Չորս հանած տեքստ, այդ չգիտեմ, ենթադրում եմ նեն կտա, կամ կարող է ինչ-որ մի զիլի տա, բայց այդ տարինակ բան է, ես բան երբեք մի արեք, չգիտեմ ինչ կտա, լավ հեսա մեր կոնսոլը կրում է, Wait, let's see. Okay, so empty string. Option. Yeah, that is one. Logica in she bottom, yeah. Above the bed is the JavaScript to the Okay. Did you guys get the sum function? Yes? Keep going? Yes.
Is it okay if we change 1 and return 1?
We change this to 1 and return 1? Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay. Awesome. Don't worry about negative. Ah, sorry. Okay, you think it now I got it. Shatura, Alfred. Don't worry, Amis. The shots in. Okay, what is your Good? Okay, good. Okay. Implement a function that takes a number and returns a string containing 3 times as many ampersands as the given number. Okay, you guys had different variations of this, but the idea is the same. This is exactly like when you were making the triangle, the thing that where you give it a number and it gives you that many stars. It's the same thing, but you multiply it times some constant. In this case, 3 times. Some of you had 2 times, some of you had 5 times. So all you do is this. So we want to do 3 times that, so we just make another constant. And then we create a const or helper. No.
So I made this string with 2 stars.
That's what the other color sign.
But what hints
That's
die?
helper, you need function.
But what hints die? Write a function that takes a number, not a 3, a number. An example is 3, but you can give 5, you can give 20. What if I give you 1,000?
Instead of this, we run a function, and when you see twice, we put 2 stars. Or twice.
Ah, yes. Okay, what you can... At a customer, fine. Okay, what you could have also done instead of this is left num, miroba. As you can see, you can write the same thing in different ways, right? And they're all correct, so don't worry. Good, keep going. Hartzka, Sharnagan. Any questions? Keep going. Fine. Easy, right? I didn't give you anything difficult. Okay, write a function that, given a number, logs to the console a triangle of stars of this form. Okay, so let's do a thing that writes a triangle. In my triangle, it goes 2 at a time, right? So if I do 3, on the first line I have 1, 2, 3 times 2 times number of stars. So at each level I multiply it times 2. Okay. So
You guys can hear me, right? Yes? Good. Alright, so first thing we want to do is write a function that, given a number, will give me that many stars but times 2. 2 times as many stars. Fine? Okay, so let's do that. Stars. Takes a num. And then returns, so if num is 0, wait. Return empty string, else return 2 times as many stars, right? So stars. Oh, sorry, no. Yeah, no. Okay? Okay, so this will give me twice as many stars as I give it. So if I give it 5, it will give me 10 stars. Right? Go.
Can we do it like this, the previous way? Like just multiply it with a number?
Yeah, and then pass it to another function. Yeah, of course. As long as the solution is correct, I accept it. Don't worry. You can do this lots of different ways. Okay, so once you have that, then we want to now execute that one for each row, right? Making this triangle go down. So, const print stars or whatever. This takes a num. If num is 0, we do nothing. We're done. In all other cases, we're going to console.log stars num. And then we're going to recurse. Stars. By the way, another thing you guys could do is do this. Look, num times 2, and only have 1 star here. Then increase by 2. Look, you start with 5, right? 5 times 2 is 10, right? Then you go down, 4 times 2 is 8. Down, yeah. Right? Hingitsendo ciosakans. Ciosakameku. Ciosakatu irekakas. Irekakameku vec.
The stars you mentioned here, minus 1.
Well, you have, this is just looping this many num times adding stars. It can't ask this kapsulumina. Questions? This is it. That's it. That was the quiz. We just solved it in like 5 minutes. Okay.
And if I write the stars,
Yeah, then? Quadrata minus 0.8. You can do it that way too. I think it will work. 0.5. You can do this. If you get rid of this. So you should get, let's say you get 5, right? You get 5, 4.5, 4, 3.5, 3, 3.5, 2, 2.5, 0, you're done. Good. Any questions? Okay, a few things before we take a photo and go home. Well, this is going to be the smallest class for the photo. Okay. So first of all, I want to congratulate you guys. The grind is over. And what I mean by this is the difficult part of this class where you go from not knowing anything to knowing a whole bunch of fairly complex stuff is over. Now we get to have fun. Now, look, think about what you know, right? Let's zoom out for a moment. Okay, we've been so focused on recursion that if you zoom out and try to imagine what you guys now understand, what you guys know. You know how to store data. That is to say, you know how to make variables and put data into the variables. You know how to store complex structures. You know how to make lists using arrays. You know how to make objects, right? To have lots of different complicated things. Okay, then you know how to organize your code into functions. And you can reuse these functions to build more and more complicated functions. That's what programming is all about. You now basically know how to program. Officially. So now, the next part of the class, so what we'll be doing next week and moving forward, is building on that. Now that you know how to program, let's program. Up until now, we have not been programming. We've been doing assignments, we've been doing like, you know, factorial of this, equation of that. But now we're actually going to build stuff, which I think is much more interesting. Specifically, starting next week, we're going to focus on game development. So you guys are going to start building games. So next week, we will look at Canvas, which is basically, you can think of it as a piece of paper you can draw. Okay? And we'll be able to draw things on this canvas. We'll be able to change data, update the canvas, and by doing this over and over again, we can get animation. We can then add events like clicking and key down, right, when the person hits the mouse, the keys, to get events to then change the behavior of these frames, thereby making an interactive game. Once you guys understand this notion of how to draw things and how to move things around, how to get events from the user, how to draw, right? Once you understand this stuff, and by the way, doing this is nothing more than calling a bunch of functions, which you now understand. Once you understand functions, this whole universe opens up for you. So you can start building games. And your next assignment is actually an element of building a game, right? So once you do that, you'll actually start visualizing and seeing things flying around and hitting stuff. And that's your next assignment, which will be very interesting. What I will do though, because I want to make sure that you guys still understand arrays and objects, I'll probably have a short assignment before that. It's going to be very easy just to show that you understand objects and arrays. We'll have an assignment until that, and then after I show the canvas next week, we'll have the actual game development assignment. And then once you have these skills, for your final project, you can actually build a game, which your friends can play, and so on and so forth. So I think it will be very interesting. I hope it will be very interesting. Okay, so any questions or concerns, anything you want to talk to me about? Are we okay? Okay, there's one more thing. This is a little important. Remember how I asked you guys not to cheat? Remember that, right? Okay, so I wanted to make sure that you guys didn't cheat. And what I did is, the cameraman recorded you guys while you were taking the exam. It's not because I don't trust you. I trust you. The problem is, the dean doesn't trust you. I trust you, right? I see no reason why you should cheat, because we're all here to learn and we're all friends. But the dean does not. The dean sees the exams and he says, why do so many people have similar exams? Why do so many people have good grades? And then he comes to me and says, prove it. If your kids are actually that smart and actually that hardworking, prove it. Give me proof that they're not cheating. And the proof that I will provide to him will be a video of you guys, hopefully, not cheating. Now here's the thing. I'm going to go on a limb and guess that maybe one or two of you might have cheated. You know who you are. I'm giving you an option. I don't want you to get kicked out of class. I don't want anyone to get kicked out of class, right? Even if you don't know your stuff, come to office. I want to help you. I want you to learn. I'm on your side. I don't want anyone here to get in trouble. So if you feel like there might be something on that video, or my camera, or some of the other cameras, that might incriminate you, come talk to me first. Don't wait for the dean to talk to me about you. You talk to me, we'll figure something out. Okay. This is me trying to be on your side. Fair? Agreed. Yes? Okay. So, on that note, relax. Most of you are doing very well. By the way, those of you who are worried about your exams, worry. It's not like you shouldn't worry. But I promise you, if you understood the material and just got nervous during the exam and didn't do a good job, I promise you I will help you. How I will help you, I don't know. Later we'll find out. But I promise you I will help you. Okay? Your grade will not go down if you know your stuff, I promise you.
What examples?
Huh?
We're gonna have a
Not quizzes, whatever. These things. No, they're no... Okay. Good? We all understand each other? We all agree? No questions? Concerns? Anything?
Let's see some of the
Let's take a picture. Good.